Alright, so today we're going to be putting the winch mount from, I believe it's Argo Adventures, whatever. It's the only winch mount you can find for Frontier model Argos. This Argo, you'd be led to believe that they don't get stuck. They do get stuck, especially in deep mud, where it's... Not a fun day. That is a bad day. The sun is going down. I'm in the middle of a swamp. Deep mud, where you try to climb out of like a ditch with deep mud, it can't get traction, it won't climb out of it. So I've gotten stuck, I needed a winch, so I didn't want to buy a winch. It's $600 for this mount that you're going to see here today. That's crazy expensive. So we're going to look at it, and there's no videos online that I could find about it, and there's no instructions. You just get a box with parts, and so you're kind of left to figure it out. So I thought a video might be helpful for some people. So stick around, like, subscribe. If you're, most people, like 90% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribers. Go ahead and like, subscribe, stick around for a little while. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe later. It's good outdoors content. I think you'll enjoy. Stick around. So let's get this figured out. Let's get it mounted and go from there. So this is what's going to come in the box. And these will actually be in a bag, that I've moved, but that's what you're going to get, these parts and these nuts and bolts. So this is my understanding of it just from looking at it. This part is what will actually be mounted to the front of the Argo. This is where your winch will sit. This is a removable plate, which it is neat. It's kind of removable. You have these long rods that can go through there, and you have a pin on the other side, so you could take it off, I guess, if you wanted to. Hopefully that's as sturdy as the other option. So this will be on the front side. This is the back side, the inside plate. You can see how that will match up there. You've got bolts there. You've got bolts down here at the bottom. This is where that rod that comes up from the bottom where your frame is, it'll go through there. Simple enough, right? You got some bolts on there. How it matches up inside the buggy itself might be the other factor here we're going to have to look at. But it's basically this. Your body or your frame is here. This is here with your winch on top of it. So let's go look at the Argo itself. Start kind of getting everything mocked up there. So this is an Argo Frontier 6x6 6-wheeler. The front part of this should all be the same whether you're on a 6-wheeler or an 8-wheeler. But this is going to go right here. There's two holes in there behind that. We'll take them out. That will go in there, and that will go underneath the body there. You are going to have to screw a couple holes into the body to make this fit and mount up. It's never fun to do, but it's something we're just going to have to do. So I'm going to get some tools. So there's two bolts on the back side of this that we got to take out, and then we'll be ready to start mounting things up. All right, so we've got an 11mm socket for the back side of this. There's two of those bad boys back there. I don't know how well you can see it, but those two screws are right here. There's a little plate there. I'm going to just try to push that out with the screwdriver. And there it comes. So there's the little Argo emblem that was on the front. Just pushed it out through those holes. So now we'll put this one through those exact same holes. It does look like I'll have to drill them out a little bit. Guess I can just shove them in. Well, alright, so I'm going to have to drill those two holes out just a hair. Perfect. Alright. So now the back piece, you can see that groove right there. That groove is what's going to go over this bar right here. That's connected to the frame down at the bottom. Should see this top part attached there, just like that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get some nuts and washers on that. Alright, so for these nuts that come with it, it's a 15mm. We're just going to tighten these two that come on here and the washer down. So we've got the two bolts that you can see here these two bolts are screwed in good. We've got this little groove with the bar going through it from the frame itself. And these two holes right here are the next two that we're going to put bolts in. And they should line up with these two holes underneath here. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to measure a few things just to make sure that we're going to hit like we should. But with that being bolted on and not moving, being tight, we should hit this perfect. But we'll put, I'll have to unscrew those or drill those out through the frame, and then we'll run our two bolts through these two holes. There are some other ones on here. I don't really know what you do with them, like these two here. There's two holes here. There's no instructions. I don't really see what they would connect to. There's not any like metal up here. I mean, I guess you could put holes in this plate, but it'd be so tough to do. I don't really know what the purpose of those two are. And again, no instructions. So I'm just gonna leave those open. If you know anything about these, why they're here, let me know what you think. So these two screw holes right here do match up. They're about 1.5 inches from this lip underneath here. Same thing on the inside. So I'm just gonna use this bit that I've already got on here. We're just going to put a hole in this frame, which doesn't make me feel good, or this tub, but that's what we gotta do. Alright, so as far as I can tell, that's it. You got two bolts up here that thread in on the backside, two bolts down here, so you got 4 bolts. It does seem sturdy. On the backside, there's holes down here, but it doesn't tell you what these holes down here would go to, and there's not any metal on the outside that they would screw into, so I don't really know what purpose of those are. And again, there's no instructions. 2 bolts here, 2 little holes here for something. Again, no instructions, just 2 random holes. So this is the plate that goes on there. I actually put a little F here just so I'd know where the front was when I mount it up. The good thing about it is removable. I do think that is a good feature. So I don't have to leave it on there if I'm not using it, or if it's going to get rained on, I can take it off. Those are good things. Using a Badlands 3500 winch, just the old Harbor Freight winch for 140 bucks or so, something like that. Use these on other things and they've done good. So we've got to mount this onto the winch itself. So the Badland plate has to go to the Badland winch. Then we have to put it onto the Argo Adventure plate. Mounted up, I'll put those pins in. Alright, so it's late, it's hot, but I think we've got everything mounted up, wired up. Let's test it out. A little bit about how I wired it up. I didn't do a super extensive video on the wiring, but you can see I brought the 2 cables off here, the yellow and the blue, through a hole that I had to drill in there. I think that on this mount here, these 2 holes is actually for you to put your relay on there. It fits, but I didn't really trust it this close to the motor. I thought some of the stuff's going to get hot. I didn't want those wires touching. So I mounted mine here. There's a frame piece here. This is the actual relay, the controller. That's where I mounted the connect for the remote for this, and it's just plugged in right now just so I can test it here in a second. I just zip tied all of my loose cables up here for now. We'll see you know, if that works or not. I just kind of temporarily wanted to zip tie it up here to this metal piece, this bracket for the intake. Of course, I've got my ground and my hot going here. I've got the ignition switch going here. I don't know that that's how I'm going to keep it, but for now, that's what I'm doing it. The actual remote that goes to your, like what would be a rocker switch, in this case, the handlebar mount, it goes up through here, and it actually, I didn't have to drill a hole for it. I just went through right here. You can see I mounted it right here on this handle. I would like a rocker switch, but that came with it, so I'll just roll with it for now. So, okay, so we're working. It's a little bit of a delay there, but we are moving. Alright, out and in seems to be working there. I've got it clipped on the bottom here. Checking the remote here. Same deal. Out, in. Seems to be working good. Yeah, I think everything's good on that. So I'll put this under the storage seat. So if I need it, I'll have it. Should be ready to go. Alright, so we've got the winch mounted up, wired up, seems to be working. It seems to be steady. I mean, these machines don't weigh just a whole lot, but it does seem to be pretty steady, solid, other than just where you've got the pins for it to be like removable. But I'm actually kind of surprised at how firm and solid it is. Seems to be working good. We're going to go out in the swamp, test it out. Hopefully I don't ever have to use it, but if I do need to use it, it'll be nice to have it. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, stick around for more Argo and hunting and archery related stuff.